Okay. Have you ever met someone, maybe they're super charming, really confident, and you just instantly think, wow, this person must also be brilliant, kind, trustworthy,
Yeah.
even before you actually know anything solid about them?
Oh, absolutely. Or maybe the reverse, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like one bad interaction with someone at a shop, maybe, and suddenly the whole brand is just terrible in your mind.
Mm-hmm. That feeling colors everything.
It's incredibly common, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it turns out this isn't just some random quirk.
No, not at all.
It's actually a well-known cognitive bias. It's called the halo effect.
That's the one.
And today, on the deep dive, that's our mission. We're going to, unpack this. We want to explore what it is, dig into its psychological roots a bit.
See where it pops up in everyday life.
Exactly. See it in action, understand the impact it has, because it does have real impact, and importantly, figure out if we can actually do anything to maybe lessen its grip on our own judgments.
Yeah, how to manage it a bit better.
Think of this as your shortcut to understanding this really powerful mental shortcut that shapes so much of how we see things.
And it's so important to get a handle on these biases. I mean, what's really fascinating here is how subtly it works.
Right.
Often completely under the radar, We don't even realize it's happening.
Mhm.
And understanding the stuff, it's not just like interesting psych trivia.
Yeah.
It's pretty essential for just navigating the world today with all the information flying around.
Mhm.
It helps us make, hopefully, more accurate judgments.
See past that initial shiny, or maybe not so shiny surface?
Precisely. Look beyond that first gleam.
Okay, powerful start. So let's get right into it.
Hmm.
When we say the halo effect, what are we actually talking about? I mean, the name itself, halo, it paints a picture, right? Like an angelic glow.
It does, and honestly, the metaphor works surprisingly well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's called the halo effect because essentially one really noticeable trait could be good, could be bad. It sort of creates this glow or maybe a shadow that just spills over and colors our entire judgment of whatever it is we're looking at. A person, a brand, anything.
Like a mental shimmer, you said.
Yeah.
That really captures it. Does that mean we're aware of this glow affecting us? Or is it more sneaky than that?
Oh, it's mostly sneaky, way more subtle. The formal definition is it's a cognitive bias where our general overall impression...
A feeling, maybe?
Kind of, yeah. That overall feeling about someone or something dictates how we then see their specific individual characteristics. We end up overgeneralizing, basically, from really limited information.
Okay.
So think of the positive spillover. If someone has one really appealing quality, maybe they're very attractive or super confident or clearly intelligent, our brain just kind of fills in the blank.
Fills in the gaps automatically.
Automatically assumes they also have other good traits, like, oh, they must be kind too, or honest, or really competent, even when, there's zero actual evidence for those extra things.
That totally makes sense for the halo side. But you mentioned it could be a shadow too.
Mm-hmm.
So it works negatively as well. What if the first impression isn't good?
Absolutely. Yeah, the flip side is just as strong. Sometimes it's called the negative halo or the horns effect.
Horns effect, okay.
And it's the same process, just in reverse. A single negative trait makes us assume a whole bunch of other bad qualities. Like, if someone's rude to you once.
Just one time.
Yeah, just once. Your brain might leap to thinking, okay, they're also probably selfish or lazy, maybe unreliable. Again, with no real proof beyond that one interaction.
Oh.
And what makes both the halo and the horn so powerful and maybe a bit worrying is that it's almost always unconscious, automatic. Most people have no idea they're doing it, which makes it incredibly influential in shaping how we judge things and the decisions we make.
Right. Which leads to that big question, doesn't it? If we're not even aware it's happening, how much is it quietly steering our choices? Big ones and small ones.
Exactly. How much are we really in control of those first impressions?
It's a bit unnerving. Our brains are definitely taking these quick routes. So where did this idea even come from? Who first spotted this happening and gave it the name halo effect?
Well, the person credited with the pioneering work is a psychologist named Edward Thorndike. This was way back in 1920.
1920. Wow. What did he observe?
He was looking at how military officers rated their soldiers. And he noticed something really interesting. The officers tended to rate the same soldier pretty consistently across lots of different unrelated traits.
Consistently? You mean like if they thought a soldier was good at one thing?
They kind of thought he was good at everything, or at least rated him highly across the board.
Even if the skills were totally different?
Exactly. Thorndike gave this specific example. If a soldier was seen as, say, very neat and tidy in his appearance,
Okay.
he was often also rated as being strong and intelligent and a good leader. It showed really clearly how that one impression, neatness, was influencing all the other judgments.
So neatness created a halo that made him seem strong and smart, too.
Pretty much. And this all ties back to how our brains like to work. They love efficiency.
Mental energy savers.
Totally. Our minds are always looking for shortcuts. So instead of taking the time and effort to carefully evaluate every single trait independently,
Which takes work.
right, it takes cognitive effort. Instead, we just let one really noticeable characteristic dominate and quickly shape our view of all the others. It's an efficiency hack, basically.
It makes a certain kind of sense, though, doesn't it? I mean, our brains evolved to make quick judgments for survival, maybe, trying to save us effort in a complicated world.
Absolutely. It's rooted in that need for rapid processing.
But I guess the question is, does that efficiency always serve us well now? Especially when the stakes are higher than just, a quick assessment.
That's the crux of it. In some very specific, maybe high-speed, low-info situations, a quick heuristic, like the halo effect, might occasionally point us in a generally okay direction, like maybe seeing confidence in an emergency situation could be momentarily useful.
Right, a quick signal.
But for most decisions that actually require some thought, some nuance, relying on it means you're almost always sacrificing accuracy for speed.
And that's where the problems start. Applying that fast thinking where slow thinking is needed.
Precisely. The danger zone.
Okay, that distinction is really helpful. So let's get practical now. How does this actually show up in our daily lives? I bet once we start looking, we'll see it everywhere.
Oh, you definitely will. One of the biggest, most studied examples is the physical attractiveness bias.
Ah, yes. The good-looking people have an easier idea.
Well, there's research backing that up, sadly. People who are perceived as physically attractive are very often, almost automatically, judged to be smarter, more competent, even more trustworthy.
Wow, just based on looks.
Just based on looks. It happens instinctively, often without any evidence at all to support those judgments. It's a classic Halo 1 trait, attractiveness making all the others seem better.
I can totally see that playing out.
Yeah.
But it's not just people, right? You mentioned brands earlier. How does it work there in, the world of products and companies?
Great question. It's huge in marketing and brand perception. Think about a company that has one absolutely killer product. Apple and the iPhone is the go-to example, isn't it?
Yeah, hard to beat that one.
That incredible success, the reputation of the iPhone, it creates such a powerful halo that people often just assume all of Apple's other products must also be top quality, innovative, user-friendly.
Even if they've never used those other products.
Exactly. Even if some of them might actually be, just okay or maybe not even that great compared to competitors. That initial halo from the star product lifts everything else up.
Right. It's like that feeling of, well, they nailed the iPhone, so their watch must be amazing too, or their speakers or whatever. I have to admit, I think I bought a particular brand of headphones once, mainly because their design was just so cool and minimalist.
Uh-huh. The aesthetic halo?
Yeah. I figured if they put that much effort into the look, the sound must be incredible. Turns out, they were fine. Just fine. Average.
A perfect, very relatable example. That's the halo effect biting you.
Totally got me. And we see this at work too, right? In performance reviews and things.
Oh, definitely. Workplace evaluations are rife with it. Imagine an employee gives one absolutely stellar presentation, really knocks it out of the park.
Okay.
That single shining moment might make their manager subconsciously rate them higher overall, not just on presentation skills, but maybe on teamwork or problem solving or even just general capability.
Even if their performance in those other areas isn't actually as strong.
Precisely. That bright glow from the presentation just kind of bleeds over and makes everything else look better than it might objectively be.
And I imagine this happens in schools too, with
Yeah.
teachers and students.
Yes, absolutely. In education, a teacher might, again, unconsciously assume that a student who is always really well behaved and quiet,
The good kid.
the good kid, yeah, they might assume that student is also more intelligent or more capable academically than maybe a more disruptive but equally bright classmate.
And that assumption could affect things.
It really can. It might subtly change how the teacher interacts with them, the kind of feedback they give, the opportunities they offer, maybe even how they grade their assignments, all stemming from that initial halo of good behavior.
Wow. It's powerful and potentially quite unfair when you think about it that way.
Deeply unfair, often.
It really makes you stop and think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
As you're hearing these examples, you probably start replaying interactions in your own head, wondering,
Mm-hmm. Where have I seen this or done this?
yeah. So, okay, we see how common it is, how subtle it can be. What are the bigger consequences then? This isn't just some minor mental glitch. It sounds like it has real-world
It
effects.
absolutely does, and it's definitely a double-edged sword or a double-edged glow, maybe.
How so?
Well, on the positive side, let's be fair, it can sometimes help people. That attractive job candidate we talked about.
Mm.
They might genuinely get more interviews or offers because of that initial positive impression.
Okay, so it can open doors.
It can. Or think about a politician who's a really charismatic speaker. That halo might help them gain trust or votes, which could lead to opportunities to enact positive change, potentially.
Right. There can be upsides to that initial positive judgment.
But, and this is a big but, the negative consequences are usually far more significant and widespread.
Like what?
Well, we've touched on some. Biased hiring decisions, overlooking a more qualified candidate for someone who just seemed better, unfair grading in schools, misplaced trusting someone charming who turns out to be dishonest, and just generally making poor choices because our judgment is clouded by that initial halo or horns.
Basing big decisions on incomplete or just wrong information.
Exactly. And if we zoom out even further, the halo effect can feed into much bigger systemic problems.
Systemic. How?
Think about stereotypes. The halo effect can reinforce them. If you have a preconceived notion about a group, a single positive or negative example that fits that notion can create a halo or horns that makes you apply that judgment even more broadly, often unfairly, to the entire group.
So, like, assuming everyone from a certain background is inherently good or bad based on limited, maybe biased information.
Precisely. It can fuel prejudice and lead to really damaging assumptions about whole communities or demographics, all because of this tendency to let one perceived trait dominate the entire picture.
That really highlights the serious stakes here. Our brain's trying to be efficient, but sometimes that efficiency leads us way off track with pretty major consequences for people's lives and opportunities.
It really does underscore the need to be mindful of it.
Okay, so the big question then. If this bias is so automatic, so unconscious, so deeply wired, are we just stuck with it? Is there anything we can actually do to fight back against it? To dim that halo, so to speak?
Thankfully, yes. We're not doomed to be puppets of the halo effect. There are practical strategies we can use.
Okay, good. Like what can we actually do?
One of the most effective things is to use structured evaluations.
Structured evaluations, what does that mean?
It means instead of making one big overall gut feeling judgment about someone or something.
Like, yeah, I think they're great. Or, nah, not feeling it.
Exactly. Instead of that, you break the assessment down into very specific separate categories, and you evaluate each category independently.
Okay, give me an example. Like for a job interview.
Perfect example. Instead of just deciding, do I like this candidate, you'd have specific criteria. Communication skills, problem-solving ability, technical knowledge, teamwork potential, and you'd score or rate each one separately before forming an overall opinion.
Ah, so you're forcing yourself to look at the pieces instead of just the shiny whole.
Precisely. You're deliberately making your brain do the harder work, looking at each aspect on its own merit, trying to prevent that halo from one area spilling over onto the others.
Makes sense. What else?
Another really crucial one is simply awareness training.
Just knowing about it helps.
It really does. Just understanding that the halo effect exists, knowing how it works, recognizing the signs. That awareness itself empowers you. It allows you to pause, to slow down your thinking.
To catch yourself before you leap to that instant conclusion.
Exactly. To question that immediate gut reaction. Is this based on real evidence across the board, or am I being swayed by one really strong positive or negative trait? Just knowing about it is genuinely the first, maybe the most important step.
Okay, so structure the evaluation, be aware of the bias itself. Anything else?
Yes, focusing on objective measures whenever possible.
Data, basically. Facts and figures.
Yeah, pretty much. Relying on measurable data, verifiable facts, observable behaviors, rather than just subjective impressions or feelings. If you're evaluating employee performance, look at actual sales numbers, project completion rates, concrete achievements, not just whether they seem motivated or likable.
Get concrete evidence instead of just relying on the vibe.
Exactly. Numbers and objective data don't have halos or horns usually. They provide a more neutral ground for judgment.
So it sounds like the common thread here is injecting more deliberate thought, more structure, more objectivity into how we assess things. Moving away from that instant automatic judgment.
That's a great way to put it. Shifting from fast, intuitive thinking to slower, more analytical thinking when the situation calls for it, being more intentional.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. We've covered a lot of ground on the halo effect, At its heart, it's basically this mental shortcut, right?
Hmm.
Where one really standout feature, good or bad, kind of unfairly shapes how we see the whole picture, the whole person, the whole brand, whatever it is.
It saves mental energy. That's the appeal.
But as we've really dug into, it often twists reality, sometimes in pretty big ways. Hopefully this deep dive gives you, our listener, a really useful tool.
Yeah, an insight into your own mind.
Exactly. Understanding how your own mind takes these shortcuts and how easily our perceptions can be shaped maybe helps you challenge those instant judgments a bit more, see things a little more clearly.
And maybe it leaves you with a final thought to mull over, where in your own life might one really strong impression, positive or negative, be quietly searing your judgment without you even noticing it.
That's a powerful question.
It is, because by bringing these biases out of the shadows, by shining a light on them, that's how we start to really empower ourselves to see the world, and importantly, to see each other with a bit more clarity, a bit more fairness, and maybe a bit more understanding.